Buonasera a tutti and welcome back to United Racing League. Today we are doing Division 8 Season 4 race number 10 in Imola, and personally this is a rather tricky track for me personally because, well, there's always that one moment where I just forget the breaking point, especially at that last chicane. And this track is known for a lot of cool stuff that's happened. Recently, yesterday, we saw Max Verstappen take victory in the 2022 championship. And who can forget that battle between Fernando Alonso and Michael Schumacher? That's just something else. That's like one of the most iconic races in F1 history, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, you're not mistaken. Never, of course, especially with the language. That was an amazing intro yet again. And welcome from my side as well to today's race. We are in the final stages of the season. Just a few races to go. And now it's time for the drivers to actually score the most important points of the season, where it's all or nothing.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Stretcher T-Stay was the first one out of the pits to start a lap. Unfortunately, his outlap is invalidated, but that's not going to matter because it's sort of like a warm-up lap. He's just warming up the tires. And behind him is either David or Cienzik. I'm going to check real quick. And
It's Cientic.
Okay, yeah, it is Cienzik.
Yeah, he's so Sergio Tiste, or Stretch at the moment, is now approaching Rivazza, the final two corners, which of course are very important, especially the final corner, because now he accelerates onto the start-finishing straight, the longest straight on this circuit, and of course the best overtaking opportunity. The only DRS zone here, he's activated it and is now approaching turn 1 and 2, which is the Variante Temporello, braking at about 80 meters, and now it's really important to get those corners correctly. Now he's approaching turn 4, turn 5, which is, let me look, Variante Villeneuve. And at the moment that actually is a very good lap. Now through turn
24 seconds.
Actually really good with that medium tire. So at the moment a fantastic lap by Sergio Tiste. Now through turn 8, turn 9. And now into Acqua Minerale, one of the most difficult corners on the F1 circuit, because cars really unstable at this point.
Yeah, I find myself having trouble on those few turns as well. He takes the chicane beautifully. That is very nice.
Not too wide, didn't invalidate, and now to the final corners again. And important here to brake as late as possible, because downhill, don't brake too late. Mind the track limits on the outside, and now onto the start finishing. A little snap of oversteer on the exit, but a very good lap time for the beginning of 1:15.2. So
pretty nicely done.
Not bad.
Nicely done.
Yeah. So Cientic did abort his lap time, so he probably made a mistake. I think next one is a Ferrari. No, that's an outlap. Let's see. Oh no, David was the next one. Yeah. Because Cientic aborted his lap time. David.
A 1:15.4.
Yeah, so just behind Sergio Tiste. And now we have Alan Liam or Tuturula.
It's Tuturula, Tuturula just started his fast lap.
And Alan Liam is now approaching start finish line. He's on the soft tire. And he at the moment is in P3, so a bit slower than the two medium drivers. Right behind him we have Toxic Planet, I think. No, Bad Matter, his teammate. 1:15.1. Toxic Planet is now approaching start finish line and goes P2 actually, just behind his teammate again.
Yeah. So far it's relatively solid right now. Batmato and Toxic Planet, they have a 1-2 from McLaren. Toxic Planet is 0.3 slower than Batmato.
300. Don't make it worse than it actually is. The Walker is about 1,000th of a second behind Toxic Planet.
Oh, I just realized that.
Yeah, no problem. Easy mistake.
Oh, jeez. I mean, it's always, I don't know what to say. It's just that whenever I see somebody getting 1,000th of a second behind the other driver for the fastest lap, I I just lose my mind because of how close it is. Like,
Yeah,
I remember when
I think
I was watching the Australian Grand Prix, and I was in a, what is it? It was a Discord chat with somebody else, and we were just freaking out over the fact that it happened twice during the qualifying session, and
yeah,
yeah.
it's, it's just in the end, 1000 is how you approach that finish line because you should stay the far right as possible as Evo Chris is now doing, and if you're a bit more to the, oh my screen is freezing.
Okay, Evil Chris sets a 115.7 right now, and then Tutorula is in P10 right now with a 115.8, and so if you're just tuning in right now, welcome aboard. We've recently started the qualifying session here at Imola for United Racing League. This is race number 10. We are on the home stretch, almost. And currently, your top 10 is Batmato, Toxic Planet, The Walkers, Stretch Artiste, David, Alan Liam, Striker, Alexis Beast, Evil Chris, and then Tuturula. We haven't seen anything from Marcus yet. He is on a fast lap, though. And it looks like it's starting to get a little bit more cloudy, unless that's just my eyes messing with me.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we see rain this season coming late into the session.
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, I'm not sure what to say about that. I mean, I just. Oh, I think I just saw Marcus set the fastest sector 2, so he's definitely pushing for it on those medium tires in that Ferrari. Siedzik takes pole position from Batmato as this is happening. Marcus is about to enter the last few corners. And he's got DRS. What is he going to get? He's going to get P6, 115.3. So, not bad for those medium tires.
Yeah, but still not what he's aiming for, of course, but I guess he will be on the soft tire at the end of the session, because the medium actually in the race is so much better, because the race pace on those medium tires is not as great as on the soft tire. You can go around 1 second faster on the soft tire than on the medium tire, so that will be of course deciding in the race.
And I'm just noticing that there is some slight rain right now. I mean,
Yeah?
that's kind of normal. That's what's happened in Imola.
Ooh!
What is it?
Yeah,
On
you're right.
Saturday? No, wait.
Yeah,
It wasn't
on Saturday. It was dry in F2 and F3, then it rained while Porsche was on, it stayed wet while Formula 1 started, and it went dry. We had, I think, a dry Q1, and then it started raining again at the start of Q2, which is why Hamilton and Russell, for example, couldn't improve anymore, because they couldn't go faster in the rain.
I think the gyros are. Well, I think Marcus, for example, is being the smart one and deciding to abort that lap and going into pits because of the rain that's happening right now. Meanwhile, let's see, we've got other gyros that are staying out, trying to go for an improving lap time, although that is going to be a bit difficult because of the rain. It's going to make the track a little bit slippery, and with it's also going to cool down the tires a little bit, which is not something you would want. I mean, you don't want your tires to overheat, obviously, but like you don't want them to get so cold that they lose grip. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have to be cautious. And now we're on board with Tuturula, and as David retires in the pits, Tuturula enters that final chicane. Unfortunately, he invalidates his time. Oh man.
Yeah, Alan Liam as well. Alan Liam improved to P7. Tried to improve in Sector 1, did, and now invalidated. Kiko improved from P15 to P10, so he made the most of his tires. Then we have, I think, Seymour, no, by B, who's slower in Sector 2. We got a McLaren off track with this Toxic Planet for an Acambiale where Ricciardo and also Lando Norris spun out in qualifying.
Yeah, I was watching the race highlights because unfortunately my sleep schedule could not keep up with what's happening because I just had some I had I had to do something that was like that had to be done at midnight and I was awake until like 3 in the morning, so
Ooh,
yeah.
okay, that's good.
I mean, thankfully I took a nap before, but still, it's yeah, my sleep schedule was kind of messed up.
Yeah. So many drivers in the pits, of course, now with 6 minutes to go. And to be fair, I don't think that anyone will actually go out on track again, except Marcus, because you know why not? He's on a soft tire now. I don't think he actually can improve because the rain is actually quite hard. Or it's getting and Marcus nearly lost the car, but he's still going for a lap for some reason. Same as Evo Chris, who didn't have a qualifying yet, only P12, and Alex's Beast. The only 3 drivers on track now.
It's it is a bit risky, I will say, but I mean, if you want to just do what you got to do, then well, you got to do what you got to do, I guess. There's not really much else I can really say because like I'm just not sure. I just can't put out the words right now as Alexis Beast has his time unfortunately invalidated, and then Marcus is doing all right. Evil Chris also has his lap. Evil Chris has his time invalidated as well, and
Marcus is 8 times slower. And look at the track how wet it is at the moment. Kiko retired in the pits, so I guess if there isn't any rain in the race, because if there's rain in the race, drivers can practice now and then on the intermediate. But I guess that's the end of qualifying now, with Cientic on pole, then Bad Meadow and Toxic Planet right behind. So 2 McLarens again in the first and second row.
Yeah. Let's see. Ooh, wait. No, I think Marcus almost spun, but he's gonna go into the pits. I guess all these drivers are done with their qualifying session because nothing else can Nothing else can happen because
no, we have one driver which is I think Analia.
Nope, it's Tuturula.
No, I think teammate Tuturula on the intermediate, if I'm correct.
No, it still says soft on my end.
Oh, it probably is a soft tire.
No, wait, never mind. It is Inters. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The thing on the left side of the screen was still showing
best times.
Yeah, best times. Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah, no.
Yeah.
He's probably just doing those laps because he's killing time at the moment. Because if he goes DNF, it won't have any effect on the qualifying result. He just shouldn't get disqualified, but it is pretty wet out on track at the moment.
Yeah.
3 drivers are on medium tires, and those 3 will also start on those medium tires, which are Citatista in P5, Marcus P6, and David P8. All the other drivers are on soft tires.
So I guess if you're the only driver out there, an ideal option would be just spend some time practicing, but I mean, yeah, with like 4 minutes to go, you don't really just, I mean, I don't know, I'm just rambling a bunch of stuff right now.
Yeah, no, you don't need to go out, but he's getting some screen time at the moment, which is also good for a driver. If he's on camera and on YouTube, you can see himself. It's really fascinating when I see myself on YouTube driving when the commentators are on my end. So I think that's also good for Tuturula at the moment, that all of our attention is on him now. So we shouldn't do any mistakes.
Well, as we're saying this, Cientic, Cientic is out of the pits right now, and he will also be on Inters.
Oh, and Tuturula spun and into the wall, but nothing happened. He's just been able to save it.
I guess this is pretty much more of just like a practice session. If you're just
Yeah,
yeah, because like there's not many drivers out there. Times are pretty much set already. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so far I don't think the grid's gonna change for these next few
No,
minutes.
me neither. No, never ever.
I'm also kind of hyped up for F122, especially on the PC version because that'll have VR support, and I've always wanted to do like fully fledged F1 in VR, and
It
yeah,
probably is really amazing, especially if you don't have any assists. And it's like real driving experience. And now the Cientic, I think, made a mistake because yellow flags were waved in that sector, and Tuturulo is going for another lap, probably his last one, because time is running out.
yeah. Unfortunately, Tuturulo's lap has been invalidated, so I'm guessing he's just gonna go into the pits. Once he gets to the pits, he's just gonna get into the pits and then retire from the session because he's done all he really needs to do, I assume.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, me too.
Cientic is probably just gonna have one more lap to go and just yeah. There's not
Yeah,
really much else to say.
no, not really. Again, good qualifying from the walkers. I just noticed that before for him because he struggled the last few races. So I hope that he has a good start and get into that race pretty well because he was the one winning the first race of the season, if I'm correct. And of course, Ivo Kurs, the big loser of the qualifying, I would say, only P12. And yeah, I think the rest of the grid pretty simple. I think those three medium drivers would have started on soft tires, but of course, with the rain, there's no chance of improvement.
Yeah, and Tuturulo decides to stay out of the pits. Maybe just have one more chance as Cientic was cutting some grass there.
Yeah, and he stopped actually. Yeah, I mean it's not easy to drive in a rain because the curbs are pretty high, they're pretty wet, and it's pretty easy to spin out. And he now actually goes into the pits. And all our attention lies now on Tuturulo, who spins out again,
Yeah, he spun out a
but
second time.
and now he retired, which means that the moment Cientic will be pushed into the pit, um, the qualifying will be over.
Yeah, pretty much. So, we've got your grid right here. Uh, top 10, Cientic sits on pole position, and then followed by Batmato and Toxic Planet. And then we got the Walkers, Stricter T-Stay, and we've got Marcus, and then Alan Liam, David, Striker, and then Kiko. That'll be your top 10 for the grid. And then behind them, it's Alexis Beast, Evil Chris, Zaymor, Tuturula, Brian B, and Yuji.
Yeah. Um, Interestingly, the start, of course, now will be interesting to see whether Cianci can defend his first place, because the problem with P1 is at this track, you actually really need to um, steer right, because you're starting like in a really weird position. If you drive straight forward, you will cut the grass immediately. So you need to go a bit to the right, and of course that will lose him some time at the start of the race, which means that Mado actually has a good opportunity to maybe get in front of Cianci at the start. And of course there's high crash potential in turn 1, 2, and of course turn 4, 5.
Yeah. Uh, and it is currently sunny right now here at Imola. And if you're just tuning in, welcome aboard. We are about to start the formation lap in about 30 seconds. And I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe it doesn't rain again, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, if it rains, maybe if it rains late in the race or two or the three medium drivers in the top 10 will have a good chance to actually get up a bit, because you lose about 27 seconds in the pits, maybe 25 seconds. So it's a whole lot of time you need to gain with a fresh tire, and maybe they can go as long as possible. But maybe there's no rain, and then of course then you do split onto a soft tire, because I think it's gonna be a one stop this race. Maybe a two stop, but I'm not sure.
In just a moment, the predicted pit stop strategy should come up on the screen. There it goes. There it is. So yeah, so one stop is the soft, then hard, and then two stop is soft, soft, medium. So definitely interesting. But should the weather change, there will definitely be a change in tires. Whether we'll see inters or extreme wets. It depends on how hard the rain is falling. Unless it's gonna be at the last few laps of the race, then it's gonna be Austria all over again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the hard tire around the track is pretty useless. You can go quite a good distance with this medium tire, therefore I think whoever's gonna think about a one stop can do a one stop, medium, soft, soft, medium. It is possible, but I think the two stop, soft, 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 medium, medium, soft, 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 medium, soft, however you want it, is the fastest option.
But overall, I think we've got an interesting race ahead of us. Yeah. I'm just gonna check. I just need to check the standings real quick to see what's gonna happen here.
Okay. Meanwhile, besides the three medium starters in the top 10, we have Alex Spies, Ivo Chris, and Seymour, so P11 to P13. Those few are medium tires as well. The other drivers outside the top 10, which are Totula, Brian, B, and UG, will start on those soft tires.
So yeah, the Drivers' Championship standings currently stand as Marcus is still in the lead, and then Bat Matto is sandwiched between him, Marcus, and Evil Chris in the Ferraris. McLaren driver is really trying to compete, trying to fight for that championship position. And then we got the Walkers, then Alan Liam, and then yeah, that's your top 5 for the Drivers' Championship standings right now. And everyone's just stopped on the grid for the formation. After the formation lap, 5 lights are on, and it's lights out, and away they go. Cienzik gets a great start as well. Great start from Cienzik, Batmato, and Toxic Planet. Batmato overtakes Cienzik. Then the Walkers passes Toxic Planet as they go into the first corner, and there's no contact, I think. Oh, there's a little bit of contact, but there was a little bit of contact, but it was not from the top 5. I think it was with one of the Alfa Romeos, and maybe an Alpine. But now,
Toxic Planet, besides the Walker, wanted to pass him in Mendoza, but couldn't get past. And Marcus with a great start as well. Improved by 1 position, David by 2 positions, and Sasha T still lost 3 positions. From P5 to P8, down to P8, which is really unfortunate for him.
I'm guessing Strategise had to back off a little bit because of having some contact there, but I'm not entirely sure. Meanwhile, you're right. Marcus did have a pretty decent start, and now the drivers are going into that final chicane.
Oh, and look at Batmato.
Yeah, I also saw an Alfa Romeo run wide. That might have been Tuturula because he is now in P16, and yeah, Batmato is gaining on Cienzik. He's just chasing him down. Cienzik has the fastest lap time so far with a 1:20.085. And now
they shouldn't waste the ERS because you can't save it in the race. Look around the outside, look around the inside, but there's just no way past without the DRS, which will be activated next lap.
Yeah, and with the first lap completed, currently the top 10 is Cienzik, who stays in first place after that great start. Then there's Batmato, the Walkers, who got past Toxic Planet after the first lap, Marcus, and then David and Alan Liam, Kiko, Strategise, and then the Lexus Beast. That's the top 10 so far. Evil Chris, currently P11, Zaymor passes Striker, and then Brian B, Yuji, and Tuturula.
It's a really tight pass. Oh, look, 2 Alpha Tauris against the Red Bull driver. and it's really close into Aquamilivale, and Seymour actually gets past Striker because I think Striker made a mistake in the second chicane, and now Seymour made a mistake, and now on the outside again for the next chicane, it's Striker against Seymour, and on the inside it's Brian B, and I think Striker will lose 2 positions now.
There were 3 cars wide, and Brian B.
Look,
He's ahead. He's in P12 right now, and meanwhile, Tutarula joins the battle. This is surely interesting for those 4 drivers. And no, I just see a spinning Alpine.
No, it's Stratiste. He's now going into the pits because I think he has front wing damage. Really unfortunate for him. And Tutarula made up the place, which was really strong.
Yeah, that's pretty strong of Tutarula. A shame for Stratiste. He was doing pretty good, and all of a sudden the camera cuts to a spinning Alpine, and I'm just like, oh no. Okay, never mind, not Tutarula. Stratiste, he goes for the hard compound tires.
So he wants to go to the end of the race, or maybe hopes for a safety car, of course. And now Toxic Planet wants to find a way past the walkers who can't go the pace of the 2 leading cars. He's already 2 seconds behind, and Marcus is sitting right behind those 2 drivers, saving, of course, again his ERS. He's the master of doing that.
Yeah, Marcus is very, he uses his ERS very sparingly.
Yeah, and now with the DRS being activated, we can have a look at Cientic and Black Matter because the DRS is so powerful around this track because there's such a long straight. And we'll see the gap is around 6/10. Oh, Toxic Planet is actually really close. And I think Toxic Planet will actually get past. Yeah, he got past the walker.
Yep, Toxic Planet got past the walkers. And then they're gonna go into that first chicane.
Alexis Beast losing the position to Brian B, who's on the... Oh, and there's contact between Alexis Beast and Evil Quiz because Evil Quiz wanted to get past Alexis Beast. Also, but fortunately, no crash.
Yeah.
Which was pretty close.
Yeah, it must have been pretty close. I didn't see it happen. But yeah. Thankfully there's no spinning cars after that.
Yeah. And to be fair, really good pace for Marcus and David on those medium tires. If they can keep this up and maybe get past the walkers or even Toxic Planet, because the walkers makes the mistake, Marcus gets past and David isn't risking it on less contact. David hits the walkers on the inside and spins the 2 drivers out. And I think that was the mistake on David's side.
Yeah, probably.
The walkers into the wall, and I think he has front wing damage because he touched the wall with his front wing. Nothing visually. Pretty unfortunate for both drivers. Marcus getting past before that corner, and now Bad Matter into the lead.
Yeah. We had the DRS, and he made the move. And he lunged and overtakes Cientic.
Yeah, but he has no ERS available anymore. And we have Stratiste who retired in Aquamilivale. He probably made the same mistake as
Yep, there's a safety car.
And the safety car's out, which would have been good for Stratiste. Really unfortunate for him that he causes the safety car. And to be fair, around lap 5, I'm not sure we see any drivers in the pits because it's way too early for pit stop. I think the soft tire can go around 10 laps. Maybe you can go into the medium tire, but of course you can't finish the race on those medium tires then. Maybe you go into a set of hard tires. Maybe for the medium starters you go two soft stints now. I'm not sure because it's a really early safety car.
Yeah, it was definitely a little earlier than I expected for there to be a safety car.
Yeah. But it's good for Marcus because now he and Toxic Planet can get closer to Bad Matter and Cientic, the 2 leading drivers.
Yeah. Yeah, Bad Matter's just gotta hold on to that position.
Yeah,
so...
he stopped pitting, and Cientic is pitting. He's pitting with Alan Liam and also Kiko's in the pits. And Brian B, David is continuing with those medium tires, also Alexis Beast, Evo Quiz, Tutarula into the pits, Striker in the pits, Yuji in the pits.
And the walkers into the pits as well.
Yeah. So Seymour continued as well, and that means all the drivers The only two drivers are on soft tires are Matter on Toxic Planet, P1, P2. Then we have medium starters up to P7. And then Cientic on mediums, Alandian on hard tires, Kiko on medium, Bambi and Tutu on hard tires, Striker and the Walkers on medium, and in between them we have Yuji on hard tires. So 4 drivers who want to go into the end of the race. And yeah, nothing happened. Sorry.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say right now. So these drivers are gonna go. They're gonna have to catch up to the safety car queue, and once they do, safety car hopefully should come either this lap or next lap.
Yeah.
You know, looking at the track map, I think it might just have to come in next lap because those drivers are still kind of far from the pack. So, yeah.
There might have been contact actually in the exit of the pits because look at Cientic. Cientic is behind Kiko and Alan Liam. Alan Liam is the leading car of those who've pitted, but Cientic was leading this way. Oh, he was second in this race. There must have been contact because actually he lost 2 positions.
Possibly. I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah, me neither. But of course, anything can happen. He might have had pumping damage. Maybe his pit stop was then a bit longer than expected, but not sure. Maybe he could have spun. And you're right, the safety car's out for 1 more lap.
You know, I just realized we had an early safety car during the 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix, and I'm just starting to think, what would happen if all of a sudden, when the safety car comes in, there's gonna be another safety car because somebody crashes. I mean, I don't want to jinx that, but I just don't see that happening. Honestly, I mean, it would be some comical effect, but I just don't see that happening.
And the good thing is that the start-finish line is pretty early. That means the driver in front, which is Matt Maddow, will probably accelerate pretty early about like after the last corner, so that shouldn't happen. But of course, yeah, if he waits until the start-finish line, there might be a crash because drivers behind, there's that Sierra Monica effect. That of course, if driver in front of you brakes, there's not enough time to react to that.
I mean, this game does not have the red flag system, but still,
that would be nice, actually.
It's just, I just don't see a big crash happening, honestly.
No, me neither. Actually, the last game who had a red flag in it was the 2011 Formula 1 game, and you could actually only cause that red flag in Monaco if you purposely cause a big crash. Then the red flag comes out and you start the race new again.
Of course. Of course it would have to be Monaco.
Yeah, always, of course.
So as you saw on your screen on the top, you just saw a message saying the safety car is going to come in this lap. Oh no, Cientic got a 5-second penalty for colliding with Kiko.
Yeah, drove into the back of Kiko. That's actually the big crash. If that would have been a bit harder. Of course, that can happen if you touch the rear of somebody else. And now 2 McLarens really need to work together. Mahitio Marcus is right behind them and they do a great job at the restart. That matter, for the McLaren, Mahitio Marcus, David, and I think they are all pretty far away from each other. No, Kiko is right behind Alan Liam, medium tires against hard tires. And they're going side by side into turn 1. Kiko on the inside pushes Adam Liam a bit wide and now spins Adam Liam out and there's a big crash.
Oh
and
no.
Brian B spins as well because there was contact made with Alan Liam. That was the crash. And Yuji is
I'm just speechless right now. I shouldn't have said a single thing.
No, you shouldn't. But of course that can happen. It was a good fight, I think. Alan Liam should have backed off because Kiko was on a faster tire and he was having a good braking into turn 1 and was actually ahead of him. Marcus gets past Toxic Planet and now Toxic Planet is trying to re-overtake Marcus. He leaves no space at all.
But Toxic Planet stays ahead of Marcus.
Yeah, and now
Meanwhile,
David.
Bad Metal builds a 2-second gap ahead of the
Oh,
train of cars
David
coming in.
again! Oh,
Um,
David really over aggressive.
Unfortunately, David, yeah.
Yeah, he just overdone it. He wanted to pass Marcus, but braked way too late, touched the inside of the rear tire from Toxic Planet and spun out. This time without causing any collision with another driver. And same more behind Kiko, pretty close. Alex's Beast and also even Chris back in the race. P4.
So right now, it's the, if you're just tuning in right now, we are on lap 9 here at Imola, and we've got the 2 McLarens ahead of the 2 Ferraris. Bad Mato builds a 3.3 second gap ahead of the remaining cars. Meanwhile, Toxic Planet is trying to hold off Marcus and Evil Chris. And then
Yeah, I think that's
Kiko...
the plan. I
Huh?
think that's the plan for McLaren. That
I guess so.
Toxic Planet is holding him up.
I don't know. I
We
mean,
have
oh,
also contact again and Ciensic spun.
oh no. You know, I imagine, like, if there was, like, if teams, I don't know if teammates are able to communicate with each other as, like, because I don't know if this is, like, you know, I wonder if teammates will be able to communicate with each other, on these, strategy options, because, like, because both, Toxic Planet and Bad Matter are doing, are making really good decisions here on their strategy. Like, their strategy is basically just holding off the Ferraris, and that's definitely gonna, what is it, cause some stress for Marcus, because
Yes, absolutely.
it's Marcus versus Bat Metal, but oh
Oh,
no!
Toxic
Oh!
Planet spun off and he's out of the race for the drastic mistake. And that
Oh!
was
Oh!
horrible.
Jeez!
And we have the virtual safety car now out on track, and that was a massive crash. Too far on the inside of the curb, spun out, and there was nothing to do for him except of crashing to the wall on the inside of the
Holy
course.
cow!
That was dramatic.
That was a
Wow.
that was a
massive
brutal
crash.
one. That was brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just gonna say that it gives me a bit of flashbacks to Baku, when Sechatista and Lausium were doing the same with Marcus. Sechatista, of course, holding up Marcus, so Lausium could get a bit closer to him. But yeah, of course, drive-through penalty for Alex's Beast, really unfortunate on his side, but that was a massive crash, and of course, really unfortunate for McLaren. There are good championship points gone now for the team.
I thought I saw another race director thing. I'm just gonna check real quick, and
Oh, you don't need, I can do that if
nope,
you
never
want
mind. It was never mind. It was just yeah, it was just a drive-through penalty for Alexis Beast.
to. Really unfortunate because we lose so much time around here, and we have Ciensic passing the walkers. Now with the as open, easy move on the inside. And now we have actually Tutuula is the driver furthest up with the hard tire. Evo Chris passing his teammate because Marcus made a mistake. His tires are dirty, probably went a bit too wide in turn 5, and now his teammate is passed and Kiko is passed.
Yeah, Kiko is currently in the podium position right now.
Yeah, and he already stopped. He is on the freshest tires. I'm not sure whether he can go to the end of the race. I will say no, because I don't think so. But he will be on the soft tire at the end. Bad Matter on the medium. So Bad Matter will be a bit slightly disadvantaged in the end of the race.
Yeah, it's up to Bad Mato at this point to try to hold that position for as long as possible until he goes into the pits to pit for those medium compound tires. And Marcus, on the other hand, he's got those. His medium tires are 10 laps old. Now they're 11 laps old, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's gonna keep those tires until the end of the race. But yeah.
No, he needs to put. He needs to put in any case because he hasn't pitted yet. So,
yeah. Okay.
The only driver in the top 5 is Kiko, who have pitted, and then we have Tutuwula on those hard tires. And Tutuwula will definitely go. Oh, now he's wide, made a mistake. Ciensic and Seymour are passed, and he's actually the only driver with UG who is able to go into the end of the race. on those hard tires. Well, let's see. Anything can happen. We might have another safety car. Crashes, spins. We've seen a lot of mistakes till now.
So I guess Bad Matto is, I guess his main strategy is try to survive as long as possible as Tutorula unfortunately goes into the grass again. So yeah, that 5-second gap that Bad Matto has built ahead of Eel, Chris, Kiko, and Marcus. It's definitely interesting as Kiko passes Evil Chris with DRS.
Oh, and Marcus nearly into the back of his teammate. Braked that tiny bit too late.
Yeah,
and now he lost a whole lot of time.
Yeah, I saw what happened to what Marcus did, and yeah, I think my heart skipped a beat a little bit.
Wrong. Yeah, I think he. Oh god, I think he had a heart attack, and I think Evil Chris had a heart attack in that moment.
Yeah, there's definitely something there's definitely something that really throws you off. Like if you just do something dangerous and you know it's dangerous, but you somehow just play it off as like something normal and you just continue on. It's just something about it just freaks me out, I guess, because like you just don't know what's gonna happen. And
well, I've seen that coming. How he took that corner. It was so obvious that he got a time penalty right now. And yeah, that's the old Marcus we know, making some minor mistakes, getting that time penalty. And Bad Matto at the moment is still leading, but of course with Kiko now in P2 with the faster tire, he's now closing in.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely crazy because like these heart-stopping moments in on the track. I can just imagine how the drivers feel.
Yeah, I think so. It's fascinating how they like forget what they've done and just move on and do another fast lap. For me, it's just like if I do a mistake or make a mistake, and I know I made that mistake, I'm just so slow the laps after that, and trying to focus not doing that same mistake again. And Marcus is really pushing on at the moment, trying to close that gap again to his teammate who now made a mistake going wide in Aquavilevale.
Yeah.
And now
sorry,
he's back in the DS.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying. Yeah. I got some notifications on my phone. That's what happened.
Not bad. At the moment, Matto is losing time, so he should consider pitting in the next 2 laps, which I think is the no pit stop winner. I think lap 16, lap 17 should be the pit stop winner because look at the laps gone at the moment. We already nearly completed half the race as Ferrari's fighting for position. Lost a lot of time, about a second, which is not good.
Yeah. Yeah, Marcus with roughly 60% ERS available. Elo Chris doesn't have much. Kiko has a relatively decent amount. Bad Matto almost has none.
But actually, Bad Matto is giving good reference how long the soft tires can go. He's losing quite a lot of time now. He should pit this lap, but Marcus now knows that he can push for 50 laps with those soft tires. Maybe he can consider pitting the next 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, I mean, those medium tires are gonna last longer than the soft tires, but despite that, it's still gonna be a bit of a stretch as Bad Matto stays out yet again.
Maybe he hopes for a safety car. Could be.
Yeah, probably.
Marcus was able to extend the gap over a second to his teammate, and now we have a yellow flag because I think that's Alexis Beast spun as Jensi got past his teammate.
Yeah.
Maybe, I think maybe Kiko. If Kiko is good with his tires, maybe he can go to the end of the race. Maybe. I don't want to be 100% sure. The medium tire is a good racing tire. It's a bit slower than the soft tire, but it should be very consistent. If he's consistent, makes no mistakes, I think he can go to the end of the race and will probably win the race if he makes it. No, Alexis Beast retired in pits.
Yeah.
No, there will be nothing. Oh, and striker penalty. Meadows losing about a second a lap to the drivers behind him. And he's still continuing.
So currently,
I'm not sure what he's doing.
I guess he's just pushing his tires to the limits at this point. Trying to hold that position as long as possible, but yeah, he's gonna have to pit soon.
Yeah, two Mercedes going side by side nearly. Well, pretty close. And now it's under 2 seconds the gap between Kiko and Batmato and between Kiko and Marcus. So Marcus actually is doing a really great pace. And he's using all of his ERS. Or most of his ERS.
Yuji gets a 3-second time penalty. And yeah. I think it's generally safe to say that yeah, I don't know what to say, honestly. I was gonna say something, but yeah, Evil Chris gets the 3-second time penalty.
And I think I know what Batmato is doing. I think Batmato will stretch the soft tire stint as long as he's in P1. Because I do think that he will stay out this lap, next lap again. Because he's still outside the DRS window, so there's no need of actually pitting. Well,
never mind, he goes into the pits.
Never mind what I said. But it could have been that he stayed out another lap because he was still leading the race. There was no need for pitting, even though he was losing quite a big amount of time. He goes on to the medium tire and will actually come out maybe in front of Yuji. That will be pretty close, but it should come out in front of Yuji as Tudula gets past Striker. And he is out now. Yuji is approaching turn 1 and it is pretty close. And Batmato is in front of Yuji.
Yeah, Batmato currently in P10. I'm guessing he's with the medium compound tires. I mean, obviously they're just like fresh out of the garage. So, and what is it? The rest of the drivers, they might have. Well, the rest of the drivers except Tuturula, they're gonna have to probably go into the pits pretty soon. And if Batmato can just increase his pace, just go a little faster, or just like try to go as fast as he possibly can on those medium tires, he should be able to regain positions shortly as what is it, Kiko and Marcus and
David
who else? Cienzik and Evil Chris also stay out. David goes into the pits, and Zaymor and the Walkers, both of them stay out.
And David had 4 damage. Might been a consequence of the collision with I think it was Toxic Planet. So he's out now P10 and he's been passed by Yuji, of course, with that extra 5 to 6 seconds. Yeah, you're right. I think Batmato should push right now. He again has no ERS. He pushed really hard, and he really needs to focus now because Kiko, Marcus, Jensik, Evo, Chris, those drivers will all go into soft tires. They will be faster and they will push really hard. I think they will pit this lap, maybe next lap, because there are only 13 laps remaining. So if they want to pit, they should pit now.
Yeah, Tujula gets another 3-second time penalty, and
I think Striker spawned in Aqua Minerale.
yeah, I just saw watching Batmato on the camera. I saw the Red Bull just stop.
Yeah. Yeah,
Zaymore,
I mean,
then Zaymore gets another penalty.
yeah, what he's pitting. Um, like I said, maybe Kiko, Ciancic, and the Walkers go to the end of the race, but also just maybe, because those three drivers have already pitted. Tuturula, of course, will go to the end of the race. He's still in front of Batman of 5 seconds. So at the moment, Tuturula, if everybody pits in front of him, is P1. So that's pretty amazing, I would say. Even though he spun and had a few mistakes, was overtaken, was a bit wide, so he pretty much lost about 7 to 10 seconds already. So that's pretty amazing by him. Ciancic another 3-second time penalty. Oh, and
Uh,
now Ciancic spun at Acramenirale.
oh
A
no.
pretty difficult corner. He spun and lost a whole lot of time. And now I think Striker made a mistake, Walker made a mistake, I don't know. But all drivers really are having troubles through that corner. And Marcus just cannot get in that DRS window of Kiko. And now he pits.
I mean, I can't blame the drivers for messing up at some of these corners, because I tend to mess up as well.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. I mean, this whole track, because if you want to be fast, you need to take the curbs. But if you take the curbs, you have that high risk of just spinning out, crashing. We saw what happened to Toxic Planet, and now we see Bad Matter approaching, start finishing straight, and now he gets past Marcus. Marcus still pit limiter 80 kilometers per hour, and he's now able to accelerate. He has free air in front of him, but look at the gap, 5 seconds, 5.5 seconds
Wow.
between him and Bad Matter. So good job by the McLaren driver, really good job. But still, Tuturula is still in P4. Don't forget him. I think he has good chances of finishing maybe on the podium if he has time penalties. He needs to be careful.
Yeah, and what is it? Bad Matto and Marcus, they're just trying to, I guess, one is trying to get ahead of the other. One is just trying to stay ahead of the other, and I guess that's what's gonna happen. Because Bad Matto and Marcus are the two drivers in the what is it? The drivers. Yeah, drivers championship, and we've actually seen we've actually seen that final chicanes. We have seen some problems happen with that final chicane in F1 itself with Charles Leclerc actually yesterday.
Yeah, let's just hope that the two Ferraris keep it on track today in Division 8.
So with 10 laps remaining, Kiko currently is in P1, Evil Chris is in P2, then it's the Walkers and Tuturula, Bat Matto, Marcus, Striker, UG, David, then Zamir, Alan Liam, Ciancic, and then Brian B.
Yeah, the only driver still without a pit stop is Evil Chris, so he actually should pit around next few laps. Always hoping for a safety car, of course that's his last hope, because if he pits on a safety car, he will stay ahead of his teammate, maybe even ahead of Bat Matto. So that's of course a good strategy. But Marcus is faster than Bat Matto at the moment because of the soft tire. Bat Matto is closing into Tuturula, and Tuturula actually is closing in to the Walkers.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Yeah, I have a feeling
And
that
now
Tuturula.
Evil Chris.
Yeah, Evil Chris goes to the pits. I have a feeling that Tuturula might pass the Walkers by either what is it? I'd say either maybe with DRS or maybe the Walkers would go into the pits if he can't keep those tires lasting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess with only 10 laps remaining, it is 10.5 laps remaining for Kiko. I do think that those two drivers in P1, P2 will go and try to go to the end of the race because, I mean, if they wanted to pit, they would have pitted by now to have that advantage on the soft tires. And I mean, Kiko has a 14-second lead, and I don't actually see Battle. I mean, his lead is 19 seconds, to Marcus is 21 seconds. I don't see them actually closing in the gap towards the end of the race. I don't see it. And Kiko is still without a time penalty.
Yeah, Kiko and the Walkers and Bad Matto, none of them have time penalties. But Tuturula is at risk because he's got a 3-second time penalty, and if Batmato can keep this gap smaller than 3 seconds,
Which it
he
is at the moment.
yeah, he could just take the podium from Tuturula.
Oh, and the Walker actually is in the pits, so I was wrong about that one. At least he has a soft set ahead, and will push now. Yeah, he will push now. That means they will be in P5 again. Striker is in the pits. Euro Quiz P6. But still, I mean, if Tuturula gets past by Matter and passed by Marcus, who's getting closer and closer and closer, gap was 5 seconds, now it's just about 1.4 seconds, it's still P4 for Tuturula, which I think is a pretty awesome result, because he started in P14.
Yeah,
And I think
that's relatively good.
Yeah, I think Kiko and Tuturula have made the most of the first safety car. I think those two moments the drivers of the days. Drivers of the day. Back.
Yeah. Yeah, Marcus is absolutely gaining on Batmato, and if he can keep this up, he's gonna have DRS. He he takes the curbs of that chicane, and yeah, with half a second behind Batmato, I just think Marcus is gonna Batmato's gonna overtake. No, not Batmato. Batmato's gonna get overtaken by Marcus, probably on this lap.
But will overtake Tuturula. So Tuturula will probably lose 2 positions now, and Marcus will make up 1 position. Marcus is pretty careful. Tuturula, oh, there's contact.
Marcus was maximizing his use of ERS. He was just absolutely sending it, and he does get past Tuturula, but Batmato is still ahead of him.
Yeah, but I mean, he's just on a faster tire at the moment, so I think Batmato won't survive the next lap being in P1. So,
well, I guess Tuturula also knows that this battle really isn't his. But yeah, I mean, like wait, if I'm not, no, that might be Alan Lee. I'm thinking about who's currently the top 5 for the drivers' championship.
Alan Liam. It's Alan Liam.
Okay.
But I think Tuturula also knows that it's pretty tense in P1 and P2 at the moment, and he might be looking for a bit of contact in front of him, maybe a crash, a spin, to gain that another position.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, because like Marcus is tailing.
Oh, and Batmato made a mistake.
Oh no, Batmato did make a mistake. He was tailgating. Batmato was being tailgated by Marcus, who has DRS, and now he absolutely sends his way ahead of Batmato, building that gap bigger and bigger as they go into that first chicane.
Yeah, he at least needs 3 seconds, maybe even more if he has more penalties. Maybe there will be more penalties to come, and now Batmato needs to look behind him because Tuturula is having great pace on those 19 laps of medium hard tires, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And I think Kiko made a mistake. I think Kiko just waited too long for that pit stop. He should have just reacted to Marcus, or should have just stayed out that 6 laps longer. I think he made a mistake pitting on those soft tires.
Yeah, Batmato's currently using as much ERS as he possibly can because he's gonna try to catch up to Marcus. He's got 0% ERS right now, and Marcus does have a little bit of ERS left. I'm guessing he's just gonna use it sparingly, knowing how his aggressive driving style is. But yeah, yellow flag in sector 3.
QG spinning out of the chicane.
Yeah.
And now we have the walkers getting past Alan Liam, who will lose a lot of points today. But of course, the walkers as well, P4 and P5 in the championship. And the walkers will make 1 more point than his competitor. Actually, yeah, 1 more point, yeah.
Currently, David has the fastest lap, which is a 1:15.6. Um,
Yeah, I think Kiko will beat that because he has the freshest tire, and I think he's actually now going onto the fastest lap.
yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah, no, actually no, he isn't. So I think David will keep that fastest lap. Of course, one extra point for him, at least at the moment. Marcus is nearly 3 seconds ahead of Bat Meadow.
Yeah,
And
Bad
there's
Mato is
5
just
laps remaining.
Bad Mato is just pulling out as much ERS as he possibly can, just so he can try to get past Marcus. But Marcus builds up 3-second gap, which means if Marcus does not make any more mistakes for the rest of the race, he'll win the race.
Yeah, and I think Bat Meadow should look more likely behind him than in front of him because Kiko is now closing up to Tutuhula and there's only a 2.5 second gap to Bat Meadow. So I think if Kiko gets past Tutuhula pretty fast on the next lap of DRS, I think Kiko has a chance to actually get past Bat Meadow as well because the soft tire on his car only 2 laps old. So he's a good chance on getting P2 again.
Yeah.
Tutuhula made a mistake. Goes a bit wide, gets another time penalty, of course that's not good for him. Tutuhula lets Kiko pass. That might be strategic, because now Tutuhula will have the DRS. But probably is too far back, Sientic with a time penalty. And now Kiko back up to P3, and with 4 laps remaining, the gap is 3.3 seconds, so he needs about a second per lap to catch Bat Meadow.
Yeah.
Which is possible, because his fastest lap is about a second and 10 faster than Bat Meadow.
Yeah, it is gonna. I guess it would be like that. Yeah, you can see that. Kiko is in fact shrinking the gap between himself and Bat Meadow, as he also increases the gap between himself and Tuturula, and Marcus also building a bigger gap ahead of Bat Meadow. It was 3 seconds last lap, and now this lap it's gonna be 4 seconds. So yeah.
You just shouldn't do any more mistakes because we both know Marcus. So hope that he doesn't get any
just
more
take
time
it easy,
penalties.
Marcus. Please make it easy for yourself by taking it easy.
I mean, his teammate just got another 3 second time penalty, so he will lose a lot of points, especially against Bat Meadow. Of course, Ferrari will make a lot more points than McLaren because, of course, Toxic Planet retired. Kiko improved by 1 second, so the gap only is 2.3 seconds. So there might be a chance on that last lap of the race. And Striker spun in the same corner again, Aqua Minerale, uphill. And Cientic spun, no, Cientic is in the pits for the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that Marcus has got this in the bag.
Yeah, he must have. He's about 4.4 seconds ahead. Maybe he wants, might be that he might have 6 seconds. I'm not sure. Maybe he's pushing to extend the gap to 6 seconds. That's why he's pushing.
I guess just to make sure that he stays in P1, he's just trying to build the best gap he can build.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna make a mistake, but if he does, he'll hopefully have that gap that's big enough to not let Bat Meadow take first place from him.
Yeah. Kiko didn't improve by any time this lap. The gap is still 2.1 seconds, 2.0 seconds. He's a bit faster on the straight because he has more ERS available. But he really needs to push now if he wants to get into P2. Or he might need to go for a penalty or for a mistake by Bat Meadow. Tutuhula still P4. A second ahead of David. David probably won't get past Tutuhula on track. maybe next lap if he's close enough, but he will of course inherit P4 because of time penalties. But I still think, great job by Tutuola. He has the oldest tires on track, 24 lap out hard tires. I already said that the hard tire is pretty useless on this track, but I think he's still doing a great job in P4.
Yeah, he's being pretty consistent so far. Let's see. But with 6 seconds worth of a time penalty,
Yeah, it's difficult.
yeah.
But I think
Um,
because he will quiz the walkers and same or all three of them have time penalties, he will only lose the place to David. That's still P5 in the end for him, which is pretty good. Uh, Thinking about him starting P14.
yeah. Yeah.
And yeah,
David does
live
end up
enough.
passing to Tarula.
Yeah, so it makes he inherits P4 on track, which is of course always good for a driver if he finishes on track ahead of another driver. It's the last lap for all of them, and
Bad
oh
Matto
no, but
gets a
Matto
3 second
on
time
the last
penalty.
lap, and that will mean that Kiko will finish on not only on the podium but also in P2. Oh, that's so. I think that's. I think it pushed a bit too hard because it's the last lap. You can't really overtake, except on a long straight, which is already got a chance. The end with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He gets the extra point. But yeah, that means that Batman will lose another 3 points to Hazia Marcus. That will mean that he will lose 10 points this race in the championship, and Marcus can extend his lead.
Yeah.
Now for the final corner, one last time, and
I'm
Marcus
guessing
again
Marcus.
for the 4th time this season wins the
Yep.
race in Imola.
Marcus for the fourth time season wins a race. He wins in Imola, and I think he might have been doing a little bit of weaving to celebrate. Maybe
Yeah,
I wasn't.
yeah.
I wasn't entirely sure, but
No,
yeah.
it's a home victory for Ferrari, and it's for the first time this season a back-to-back win for a driver.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, Ivo Chris only P6, the Walkers P7, same or P8. Adam Liam P9, maybe P8, it's P9 for him, just about. And then it's a battle for P10. Brian B against Striker, but I think Striker will lose P10 to Brian B because the AlphaTauri driver has no time penalties on his name.
And yeah, I mean, not much else to say as Yuji passes Cienzik. Not sure what happened there. I'm guessing maybe Cienzik made a little mistake, but
I think he let the drivers pass because he's the reserve driver for this race.
oh
And yeah, he's
yeah.
fitting because he easily. I think that's a nice gesture because as a reserve driver, they don't want to take away any points from the main drivers, and I think that's a good move from him.
Yeah. And your driver of the day goes to Tuturula for
Absolutely,
yeah.
gaining 9 positions. Absolutely deserved. As well as for Kiko, of course. P2 in the end, started P10, so of course great work from him, and of course Marcus. That race victory, fully deserved from P6 on the grid. And
Yeah,
in
back-to-back
moments, he
wins
wasn't
as well,
proud.
so that's also pretty nice.
Yeah. And with a few rounds to go, I think it's still all to play for, because we've seen a lot of mistakes by many drivers this season, and one DNF can make out a lot. But yeah, at the moment Marcus is dominating Division 8 a little bit, tiny little bit, and wins again in Imola.
So, your final standings. The top 10 is HCL Marcus, Kiko, Batmato, and then we got David, Tuturula, Evil Chris, and then the Walkers, Zamar, Alan Liam, and then Brian B. And then after that is Striker, Yuji, Cientic, and then Alexis Beast, and then unfortunately it was Alexis Beast, Toxic Planet, and Stretch who did not finish. And yeah, this has been United Racing League. Thank you for joining us here on our YouTube channel, Division 8, Season 4, race number 10 here at Imola. And yeah, this is me signing off. Would you like to add anything else, or?
No, just a great race yet again this season. Looking forward to next one next week. and I hope you tune in again and see you next time.
Yeah. See you next time, everybody.